here from Expert Thinking.
Hi everyone, James Wayne from Expert Thinking, and welcome to our next edition of Codebyte. So what are we going to talk about today, Alex?
So today we're going to run through what is hub and spoke, and we're going to look at some of the whys and wherefores, and also some of the candidates for actually not centralising services. So when we talk about hub and spoke, it's primarily a cloud networking construct, where you centralise some of the core services and connectivity points both to the internet, but also to on-premise as well.
Okay.
So in terms of how that looks then, let's say we've got our egress point out to the internet, but also connectivity back to on-premises. Some of the core services that you'd want to centralise are your core network infrastructure, things like your firewall, and any kind of VPN or express route, something like that, connectivity back. Where this becomes really important from a hub and spoke perspective is actually your spokes and your workloads. So the whole concept of this is that you're managing this configuration at scale in a single place and allowing the rest of the platform and the spokes to actually consume that and the connectivity that's associated.
Ah, that makes sense. So is this purely about networking, or is there, is there additional value add for having this model?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's primarily a networking construct, but we can go a bit beyond that, right? So we can think about centralization of some other key services, such as your login and monitoring infrastructure.
Okay.
For example, in our previous Codebytes, we talked about what is a platform team. From a platform perspective, and the infrastructure that lies within these spokes and the consuming teams, the platform team are going to need a certain level of observability capability around that. In which case, a candidate for kind of centralising would be your login infrastructure, just so that you've got from all of your spokes, in the same way as the network traffic, actually your login and metrics flowing through to a central location where teams can self-serve, but also the platform team has a view on any issues that come up.
That makes perfect sense. So is this model always applicable, or the best, the best kind of architecture, thinking about sort of workload traffic ingress into a public-facing application?
Yeah, great question. So while this makes sense for a lot of use cases, actually when we're talking about more application-specific stuff and connectivity points out to, let's say, an external third-party API over the internet, you want to front that with some kind of gateway, application gateway, let's say, right? Sticking that in a central location and servicing all of the different apps which are going to lie in different spokes doesn't really make sense from that perspective, because you want the consuming team to have a level of control and also be able to scope down that blast radius to the spoke specifically. So at that point, you put your app gateway with the spoke and keep that piece of network infrastructure actually self-contained with the application.
Amazing. That's great information, Alex. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.